Well, good evening everyone and welcome along to the second British Speedway quiz night. First and foremost, we hope you and your families are continuing to keep safe and well, and also hope you're finding plenty of ways to keep yourselves occupied within your own homes during lockdown. Tonight we're back for a second successive quiz, and it's because of you that we're all here doing this again. Last week's quiz was something of a trial run in all honesty, but we told you we'd respond accordingly, monitor the interaction during quiz one and the feedback we received afterwards, and we have to say we were totally blown away as well. Not only did you exceed all expectations in terms of the numbers of people who joined in and played along live, but there were hundreds of you who caught up on the quiz in the days that followed as well. We've been inundated with positive feedback, and therefore we are back by popular demand, you could say, and we will be for the foreseeable future as well, as the British Speedway quiz night is going to be coming to you live from 8:30 every Friday until further notice. So how is tonight's quiz going to work? Well, we listen to you, the participants. After all, it's because of you that we are doing this again, and we have made just a couple of slight tweaks for tonight's quiz. Like last week, we've still got 40 questions coming your way, but tonight they will be split into 3 different rounds. We'll shortly be kicking things off with our opening bumper round. This is going to have 20 questions, and we've decided to call round 1 Pick a Mix because it's basically a bit of anything and everything. We're then going to view a couple of races from seasons gone by, and that'll give you a chance to top your drinks up or whatever you want to do in that short break. And then we'll move on to our final 2 rounds back to back. These have each got 10 questions, and these are going to be our themed rounds. And tonight we have got Grand Prix riders, followed by team managers and promoters. Once we've gone through all the questions, we'll view another couple of races, and then we'll get everyone back together and go through the 40 answers. A reminder, just like last week, there aren't any prizes or anything like that. It's all a bit of fun to interact with supporters, keep talking about Speedway and help pass a bit of time. It looks as though we're going to get a good number of you playing along live again this week. But remember, this video will also be available on the Speedway Great Britain YouTube channel for you to play whenever you want. It was also great to see so many of you going head-to-head with family and friends via video apps and video calls last week. And from what I've been reading, it looks as though this will be the case again tonight. You can play individually against others in your household, or of course you can put your minds together once again and work as a team. The pen and paper approach was popular, as was the playing along live feature last week online as well. For those of you who are playing along live online, you can enter your answers into the comment section on either our YouTube or Facebook video. But for those of you who don't want to be influenced by others, then we do advise once again that you disable the comments by pressing the appropriate button. Again, we've done our best to cover every track or club at least once during tonight's quiz, and some questions will be down to pure knowledge, others more pure guesswork perhaps, but time will tell, and we're about to find out. A few of you felt you could do with slightly longer to answer the questions, so this week, upon me finishing reading the question first time around, I'll then read it a second time, and it's at that moment then that the 15-second timer will kick in. I think that's everything in terms of the rules, and again we anticipate that this will take around about an hour or so in total. So it's time to get those pens and brains at the ready, and let's kick off the second edition of the British Speedway Quiz Night. Round number 1 then, and this is our pick and mix round, a bumper opening round with 20 questions. And here is question number 1. In a standard British League fixture, an away team takes home how many league points if they win the meeting by 7 points or more? So in a standard British League fixture, an away team takes home how many league points if they win the meeting by 7 points or more? Question number 2. What did Plymouth change their nickname to in 2019? So what did Plymouth change their nickname to in 2019? Question number 3. What relation is racer Jack Smith to former British champion and Grand Prix rider Andy Smith? So what relation is racer Jack Smith to former British champion and Grand Prix rider Andy Smith? Question number 4. Robert Lambert was crowned British champion in which year? So Robert Lambert was crowned British champion in which year? Question number 5. Which British youngster, whose picture has been blurred on your screen, recently produced a unique look at lockdown with a week in the life of video diary? So which British youngster, whose picture has been blurred on your screen, recently produced a unique look at lockdown with a week in the life of video diary? Question 6. The final race of Ipswich's traditional individual event usually takes place over how many laps? So the final race of Ipswich's traditional individual event usually takes place over how many laps? Right then, time to get you thinking a little bit more for each question going forward, I think. On to question number 7. In which country was Berwick's Coty Garcia born? So in which country was Berwick's Coty Garcia born? On to question 8, and we're throwing it back a decade for this next one, and also trying something a little bit different, so bear with me. From the highest amount to the lowest, can you put these 4 riders in order based on how many Premier League points they scored in 2010? So your options, we've got A. Ryan Fisher, who rode for Edinburgh, who finished first. Option B. Mark Lemon, who rode for Newcastle, and they finished second. Option C is Jason Lyons, who rode for Birmingham, who finished third. And option D is Travis McGowan, who rode for Glasgow, who finished 13th. So those riders are on your screen now. And we want you, from the highest amount to the lowest, to put these 4 riders in order based on how many Premier League points they scored in 2010. Your time starts now. Question number 9. Which rider finished runner-up to Jason Doyle at the 2018 Premiership Riders Individual at Poole? So which rider finished runner-up to Jason Doyle at the 2018 Premiership Riders Individual at Poole? Question number 10. Can you remember which 2 teams contested the 2018 Championship Grand Final? So can you remember which 2 teams contested the 2018 Championship Grand Final? Question 11. In Sheffield's league fixture at Birmingham last year, Captain Kyle Howarth was disqualified from Heat 9 for not wearing what? So in Sheffield's league fixture at Birmingham last year, Captain Kyle Howarth was disqualified from Heat 9 for not wearing what? Question number 12. In official National League fixtures in 2019, who scored more points for the Isle of Wight? So in official 2019 National League fixtures, who scored more points for the Isle of Wight? 50-50 chance of getting this one right. Is it A. Ben Morley or B. Georgie Wood? Question number 13. How many riders from the Glasgow team beaten in last year's Championship playoff final have been named in their lineup for 2020? So how many riders from the Glasgow team beaten in last year's Championship playoff final have been named in their lineup for 2020? Time for this one starts now. On to question 14, and time to put riders in order once again. But for this one, from oldest to youngest, can you put these 4 Peterborough riders in order of their age? And your options: A. Hans Andersen, B. Chris Harris, C. Ulrich Ostergaard, D. Scott Nichols. So from oldest to youngest, can you put these 4 Peterborough riders in order of their age? Time starts now. Question number 15. Ipswich announced the shock return to UK racing of triple world champion Jason Crump during the winter, but with which club did he last appear in British Speedway? So Ipswich announced the shock return to UK racing of triple world champion Jason Crump during the winter, but with which club did he last appear in British Speedway? Question 16. Can you name the 2 riders who have stepped up to the championship with Kent, who were a part of the King's National League side last year? So can you name the 2 riders who have stepped up to the championship with Kent, who were a part of the King's National League side last year? Question 17. Swindon winter signing Jordan Stewart has only ridden for 1 other British club so far in his career, but who is it? So Swindon winter signing Jordan Stewart has only ridden for 1 other British club so far in his career, but who is it? On to question 18 we go, and take a look at your screens. Can you name the rider pictured from 2011? So can you name this rider pictured from 2011? Question 19. True or false? Wolverhampton have 5 Australian-born riders in their starting 7 for 2020. So Wolverhampton have 5 Australian-born riders in their starting 7 for 2020. Is it true or is it false? And now for question 20, the last of your bumper first round, and time to get your thinking caps on for this one. How many of Somerset's starting 7 for 2020 have a surname beginning with the letter B? So how many of Somerset's starting 7 for 2020 have a surname beginning with the letter B? And your time starts now. So that's our opening bumper round complete. We're going to give you a few minutes now to pop to the kitchen, run to the loo, and we'll run through the final 2 rounds back to back after we've seen some fine race footage from seasons gone by.
Heat number 5 now as the riders come up to the line. This time for the Stars, we have got gate number 2 in blue, Lewis Kerr. On the outside in red is Tai Woffinden. Up go the Tate for Ipswich. This time Chris Harris is back out and David Bellego, but it's the Stars that make a brilliant start there as they race up the far side. And it is Tai Proctor who leads the way, being chased by Chris Harris, who took that tumble in the earlier heat. Harris going well on the outside, cuts back to the inside. In 3rd place it is Lewis Kerr, and at the back there David Bellego. Here they come out of turn number 4, going really well in the lead position is Tai Proctor, all the way down into the corner, being chased all the way there. Quite a big gap between 1st and 2nd. Chris Harris, 1 more lap to go. A bit of a race at the back there. David Bellego's having a go. He sweeps round the outside. Can he do it? He moves up in the 3rd place, but he doesn't stay there. Good effort from Bellego, the Witches rider, but he is beaten by Lewis Kerr. Oh, close over the line there, but Lewis Kerr hangs on to that 3rd place. In fact, the 2nd, 3rd and 4th place riders all coming over the line together in that one.
Starting Marshall walks away. Fast start from gate number 2 from Richie Worrell. Morris has made a reasonable one for Coventry. James Sargent trying to look through on the inside of Richie Worrell. But it's Richie Worrell that shows. 2 Coventry boys in 2nd and 3rd. Now here comes Steve Worrell on the fast outside blast. Can Steve Worrell get back on terms? Ashley Morris for Coventry, their guest this afternoon, really blasting around the outside. Makes a slight mistake there. Got to hold back Steve Worrell. Steve Worrell looking for a way through on the inside. Steve Worrell all the way down on the inside, trying to get one hand, in fact both Coventry boys if he can. He's got Ashley Morris, and now he's going after James Sargent. Steve Worrell really busted a gut here to get on terms with James Sargent. Sargent can hear him coming. Here, locked a level into the top corner. Richie Worrell out front, James Sargent still with the 2nd place over Steve Worrell. Worrell committed to the outside. Has he got the pace and the legs to get round James Sargent? Looks like it. Here he comes. Steve Worrell is all the way for 15 metres, has come through for another 5-1 maximum for the Belle Vue Aces. Brilliant stuff from the Worrell boys there. Richie Worrell and Steve Worrell combining for a 5-1 maximum. And what a sensational ride that was from Steve Worrell. Got past Ashley Morris and then went after James Sargent in sensational style.
Well, hopefully you've now all had a chance to do whatever you needed to do during that short break. It's time to move on to our themed rounds now. 2 of those coming up back to back for you. 10 questions in each, starting with round 2 and a look at the 2020 Speedway Grand Prix competitors and their British Speedway careers. Round 2, question 1. With which British club did reigning world champion Bartosz Szmarszlik have a very brief spell with in 2014? So with which British club did reigning world champion Bartosz Szmarszlik have a very brief spell with in 2014? Question number 2 and multiple choice for this one. In which 2 seasons did Leon Madsen feature in British Speedway with Poole? So in which 2 seasons did Leon Madsen feature in British Speedway with Poole? Is it A, 2008 and 2009, B, 2009 and 2010, C, 2010 and 2011, or D, 2011 and 2012? Sticking with current Grand Prix riders and their British Speedway racing days, question 3. In which year did Emil Sayfutdinov join Coventry? So in which year did Emil Sayfutdinov join Coventry? Back to multiple choice for question number 4. For how many seasons has Freddie Lindgren featured in Wolverhampton's lineup to date? So for how many seasons has Freddie Lindgren featured in Wolverhampton's lineup to date? Is it A, 10, B, 12, C, 14, or D, 16? Question number 5. Can you remember which Grand Prix star signed for Leicester in 2018 but only completed 1 meeting in Lions colours? So which Grand Prix star signed for Leicester in 2018 but only completed 1 meeting in Lions colours? Question number 6. Can you name the 3 British clubs that Matej Zagar has officially ridden for to date? So can you name the 3 British clubs that Matej Zagar has officially ridden for to date? Question 7. Which British club were the first to hand a team spot to Jason Doyle in 2005? So which British club were the first to hand a team spot to Jason Doyle in 2005? Another multiple choice coming up for you for question number 8. Matej Zagar is most recently associated with Belle Vue when it comes to his British Speedway career, but with which other club did he also spend a total of 4 seasons? So Matej Zagar is most recently associated with Belle Vue when it comes to his British Speedway career, but with which other club did he also spend a total of 4 seasons? A, Eastbourne, B, Reading, C, Swindon, or D, Trelawney? Question 9. Which club first introduced Max Fricke to British Speedway, where he made over 90 appearances in 2013 and 2014? So which club first introduced Max Fricke to British Speedway, where he made over 90 appearances in 2013 and 2014? On to the last in the Grand Prix rider round, and hopefully it's a nice easy one for you as well. Question 10. Which club were the first to secure the signature of Tai Woffinden as he made his British Speedway debut in 2006? So which club were the first to secure the signature of Tai Woffinden as he made his British Speedway debut in 2006? We're moving straight on to round number 3, our final one of tonight's quiz. And this week the theme is team managers and promoters. So round 3, question 1. Earlier this year, Newcastle appointed Darren Hartley as their new team manager, but what was his main role in the sport in 2019? So earlier this year, Newcastle appointed Darren Hartley as their new team manager, but what was his main role in the sport in 2019? Multiple choice for question 2 of this round. It was announced that which former world champion would take over as Pool's team manager for their away fixtures only in 2020. So it was announced that which former world champion would take over as Pool's team manager for their away fixtures only in 2020. Is it A, Gary Havelock, B, Chris Holder, C, Mark Laram, or D, Tony Ricardson? Question 3. Rob Lyon is the new team manager of Peterborough, but with which club was he a double Premier League title winning boss? So Rob Lyon is the new team manager of Peterborough, but with which club was he a double Premier League title winning boss? Question 4. Current Eastbourne co-boss Will Pottinger officially launched his Speedway managerial career with which club in 2010? So current Eastbourne co-boss Will Pottinger officially launched his Speedway managerial career with which club in 2010? On to question number 5. In which year was Simon Stead appointed team manager of his home club Sheffield? So in which year was Simon Stead appointed team manager of his home club Sheffield? Question 6. Jim Lynch was named Leicester team manager in March 2017, but which club did he originally agree to join that season? So Jim Lynch was named Leicester team manager in March 2017, but which club did he originally agree to join that season? Question number 7 then, and this is the final multiple choice question of tonight's quiz. Jade Mudgway is the current team manager of Redcar, but in which country was he born? So Jade Mudgway is the current team manager of Redcar, but in which country was he born? Is it A, Australia, B, England, C, New Zealand, or D, Scotland? And from one last multiple choice, to one final picture question coming up for you next. So take a look at your screens. Can you name the current team manager from his racing days? So can you name the current team manager from his racing days? Question 9. David Mason is one of Birmingham's co-owners, but in which year did he ride for the club? So David Mason is one of Birmingham's co-owners, but in which year did he ride for the club? Final question of tonight's quiz then, and time to dig deep in your memory bank and think carefully about this one as well. Question number 10 of the third and final round. Since suffering playoff final heartbreak in 2009, how many times has Alun Rossiter been a top flight winning manager? So since suffering playoff final heartbreak in 2009, how many times has Alun Rossiter been a top flight winning manager? And just like that, another 40 questions have been and gone, and you've done all you can to score as many points as you can in tonight's quiz. Before we run through tonight's answers, we're going to give you one last chance to take a breather, and we're going to relive some more fine British Speedway footage.
Gate number 2, Thomas Jorgensen. James Shanes is off 3. Jacob Bookoff is off at gate number 4. The race gets underway into that first bend, and it is Charles Wright who leads the way from Thomas Jorgensen, who won his first ride. James Shanes sent out wide there. Bookoff is in third with Shanes at the back, but here comes Shanes. He's going out high, wide, and is it going to be handsome? It is indeed. He's got through into third spot now. Meanwhile, out in front, the battle going on between Wright and Jorgensen, and it is Charles that leads the way. Second place in his first ride. Thomas Jorgensen, well, he won his first outing. James Shanes comfortably now back in third position. It's a 4-2 for the Brummies as they look to extend the lead to 10 points. Charles Wright it is, who's having such a great season this year. He leads the way from Jorgensen in second place. James Shanes back in third. I don't think he's going to be able to close in on Thomas Jorgensen, although as we say that, well, here he comes on the inside. Well, that was absolutely fantastic. Well, he called us out, and he's called Thomas Jorgensen out on the final lap. The Birmingham captain, he's got a paid win there in brilliant fashion. He really is Mr. Entertainment here at Perry Bar. He found a way past Bookoff, and then on the last lap he didn't look like he was going to be able to get to Jorgensen, but indeed he did, and he came through to take the victory on the last lap.
Fly away they go. Tight between Lambert and Masters on the run down to the first corner. It's the two Walls boys that get there. Masters and Schlein. Robert Lambert will try to stop his way underneath Rory Schlein here, but crucially the Walls out front 1 and 2. It's going to be a match winning ride coming up from the captain and Sam Masters. Masters and Schlein. Schlein having to go the long way around, trying to look across for Sam Masters. Masters knows that Robert Lambert's not too far away. Lambert now throwing around the outside of Masters has made a mistake there, and Lambert will get into second. Ultra competitive action in Heat 13. We look to Sam Masters to respond. Masters just respond. Back on the inside here of Robert Lambert, forcing the British champion up against the fence. Robert Lambert trying his level best, but Masters has battled his way back superbly there. To the back straight for the final time. It'll be the first 5-1 of the night if Sam Masters can hold on to this second place. Roared on by the Walls faithful. Schlein will take the win, and Sam Masters, just as the run to the flag, holds on to second spot. The first 5-1 of the evening. and Wolverhampton, barring a disaster in the last two heats, are going to be victorious here at home tonight. The Schlein and Masters had to work very hard indeed there. Robert Lambert was stiffing around the back of Sam Masters for all 4 laps of heat number 13. And is that the race that secures Wolverhampton the victory here at home once again this evening?
Well, some more terrific action that we've just seen there, and I'm sure we're all thinking the same thing, that we can't wait to see racing like that trackside once again very soon. Right, this is it then, a time to see how you got on and how many points you've racked up in the second British Speedway quiz night. Here come your answers. So round 1, question number 1 then. We asked you, in a standard British League fixture, an away team takes home how many league points if they win the meeting by 7 points or more? And of course the correct answer is 4. A nice easy one to kickstart tonight's quiz, and hopefully lots of you will be up and running with a point from question 1. The league point scoring system has been in use for a while in British Speedway now, and it was introduced to reward impressive performances on the road. Question number 2. What did Plymouth change their nickname to in 2019? The answer is Gladiators. Well, it was part of a complete rebranding for the club, which saw them drop their old Devils nickname, and it also saw them change their racing colours and stadium name too. Question number 3. We wanted to know, what relation is racer Jack Smith to former British champion and Grand Prix rider Andy Smith? And of course the answer is son. Well, Father Andy, he can still be found in Jack's pit bay on a race day as chief mechanic now, since making his debut in the National League at the back end of 2015. Hopefully a good percentage of you are on 3 out of 3 now as well. I reckon we've gone easy on you this week to help you settle in a little bit quicker. So on to question number 4. And Robert Lambert was crowned British champion in which year? 2018. And the Kings Lynn man proved unstoppable at the National Speedway Stadium in Manchester. Not only did he win all 5 of his qualifying rides, he also then produced a fine ride in the final to lift the trophy. Question number 5. Which British youngster, whose picture we blurred on your screen, recently produced a unique look at lockdown with a week in the life of video diary? Jason Edwards. The Eastbourne and Mildenhall talent decided to film his movements and season preparations for a week to give supporters an insight behind the scenes. Question number 6. The final race of Ipswich's traditional individual event usually takes place over how many laps? The answer, 16. And the 16-lap final is certainly unique, as it's a real demand for both man and machine, and there have been plenty of dramatic moments down the years. Right, on to question number 7, and we started ramping things up a little bit from this moment onwards. In which country was Berwick's Coty Garcia born? Correct answer, Argentina. Well, Garcia was born in the town of Colonia Baron, and it was actually the Bandits who handed him his debut in British Speedway in 2015. On to question 8, and the first of our slightly different questions, in which we asked you to put riders in order. This one was from the highest amount to the lowest. Could you put the 4 riders in order based on how many Premier League points they scored in 2010? And the correct order we were looking for was A, D, B, C. So A, D, B, C, Ryan Fisher, Travis McGowan, Mark Lemon, and then Jason Lyons. Now for our marking system, it's 1 point if you got the exact order correct. If you're feeling ultra generous in your individual households, you may decide to give a point per rider you got in the right position. But Ryan Fisher, he raced for Tabletoppers Edinburgh. He scored 390 points from 33 meetings. Glasgow may have been at the wrong end of the Premier League table that year, but Travis McGowan shone individually, scoring 375 points from 34 meetings. Mark Lemon scored 357 from 33 for second place Newcastle, while Jason Lyons managed 344 from 33 meetings for third placed Birmingham. So ADBC was what we were looking for question number 8 of round 1. On to question 9. Which rider finished runner-up to Jason Doyle at the 2018 Premiership Riders Individual at Poole? Correct answer, Troy Batchelor. And if you tuned into the latest Monday Night Speedway on the British Speedway social media channels earlier this week, I expect you to have got this one correct. Batchelor and Doyle, they both tied on 13 points apiece in the qualifying stages, but it was the latter who got the better of his fellow Australian in the all-important final. Question 10. Can you remember which two teams contested the 2018 Championship Grand Final? Workington and Lakeside. Again, we recommend 1 point if you got both teams, but it's up to you which marking scheme you're following back at home. Well, Lakeside beat Workington 44-34 in their home leg, but the Comets delivered a powerful performance at Derwent Park 24 hours later to win 61-29 and seal a 22-point aggregate victory over the Hammers. Question number 11, and a rare moment indeed. In Sheffield's league fixture at Birmingham last year, Captain Kyle Howarth was disqualified from Heat 9 for not wearing what? Believe it or not, the answer is gloves. Well, it was certainly a bizarre moment at Perry Bar as Howarth missed the initial 2-minute time allowance and then dashed out onto the track without his gloves on. And a full credit to the eagle-eyed SCB referee Chris Durno and trainee that night Wayne Jarvis for spotting that one. It proved costly for the Tigers as well, as they slipped to a 2-point defeat at the hands of the Brummies. We gave you a 50-50 chance of getting question 12 right in official 2019 National League fixtures. Who scored more points for the Isle of Wight? A. Ben Morley or B. Georgie Wood? The correct answer was A. Ben Morley. Well, Morley scored 179 points from 14 meetings, whereas Wood only raced in half the amount of fixtures and totalled 84 from 7. Question 13. How many riders from the Glasgow team beaten in last year's Championship Playoff Final have been named in their lineup for 2020? And the correct answer we were looking for was 3. Well, the Tigers may have come up just short in the 2019 Grand Final against Leicester, but only Craig Cook, Sam Jensen and Connor Bailey retained their places at Ashfield. Back to putting riders in an order for question 14. From oldest to youngest, can you put these 4 Peterborough riders in order of their age? The correct answer is D, A, C, B. So D, A, C, B. That's Scott Nicholls, Hans Andersen, Ulrich Ostergaard, Chris Harris. Well, Scott Nicholls was born on the 16th of May 1978, which makes him 41. Hans Andersen was born on the 3rd of November 1980, which makes him 39. Ulrich Ostergaard was born on the 19th of April 1981 and therefore celebrated his 39th birthday on Sunday, making him 5 months or so younger than Hans Andersen. And Chris Harris was born on the 28th of November 1982, which makes him 37. So DACB was the order for question number 14. On to question 15, and Ipswich announced the shock return to UK racing of triple world champion Jason Crump during the winter. But with which club did he last appear in British Speedway? Belle Vue. Yes, it was 2009, 11 years ago, unbelievably, that Crump last raced in the British League with the Aces. But after getting back on a bike back home in Australia, it was the Witches who took note and were able to tempt him to Vauxhall for the 2020 season. Question 16. Can you name the 2 riders who have stepped up to the championship with Kent, who were a part of the Kings National League side last year? Dan Gilks and Robert Ledwith. Again, we recommend you give 1 point if you got both names, but we'll leave that entirely up to you. They may be at opposite ends of the racing careers, I think it would be fair to say, but it was Gilks and Ledwith that the promotion at Central Park have put their faith in to fill their reserve berths in 2020. Question 17. Swindon winter signing Jordan Stewart has only ridden for 1 other British club so far in his career, but who is it? The correct answer is, of course, Redcar. Well, it was the Bears who brought Stewart over to the UK in 2018, and the Australian has remained with the club since at championship level. On to question 18, and we told you to take a good look at your screens. Can you name the rider pictured from 2011? Steve Worrell is the rider in the picture. I'm sure many of you will have recognised the face instantly. Hopefully, not too many of you went for the wrong Worrell twin, but this is Stevie Worrell, pictured at Scunthorpe's press day in 2011. Question 19, true or false, Wolverhampton have 5 Australian-born riders in their starting 7 for 2020. False, it's not 5, it's actually 4, with Ryan Douglas, Sam Masters, Nick Morris and Rory Schlein, the Aussies, all earning a return to Monmouth Green. So false was the answer we were looking for question 19. And the final answer for the final question of round 1, our bumper opening round. How many of Somerset's starting 7 for 2020 have a surname beginning with the letter B? 3. Well, we were certainly testing different aspects of your brain there, you could say. But when you'd reminded yourself of Somerset's lineup for this year, hopefully you'll have been able to work out that Ben Barker, Josh Bates and Luke Becker are the 3 riders whose surname begins with the letter B for the Rebels. Straight on to round 2 then, and this was our Grand Prix rider round. 10 questions in this one. Here are your answers. Round 2, question 1. With which British club did reigning world champion Bartosz Smarslik have a very brief spell with in 2014? Birmingham. Well, Smarslik signed as an injury replacement for fellow Polish racer Adam Skłonnicki, but only raced in 1 meeting where a result was declared, scoring 5 points in a 50-40 win over Belle Vue at Perry Bar. Multiple choice for question 2. In which 2 seasons did Leon Madsen feature in British Speedway with Poole? A. 2008-2009, B. 2009-2010, C. 2010-2011, or D. 2011-2012? Correct answer, B. 2009-2010. Madsen, who of course won the British Grand Prix at Cardiff last year, made over 40 appearances for the Pirates and scored just shy of 300 points. Question number 3. We asked you if you could remember in which year did Emil Sayfutdinov join Coventry? 2011. Well, the Russian Rocket signed for the Bees partway through that year after Hans Andersen was ruled out with a foot injury, and Sayfutdinov scored 110 points in 11 meetings for the Bees. Multiple choice again for question 4. We asked you for how many seasons has Freddie Lindgren featured in Wolverhampton's lineup to date? A10, B12, C14 or D16? The answer we were looking for was C14. Well, the Swedish star first raced for the Wolves in 2003 and last appeared for the West Midlands outfit in 2017, with 2014 the only campaign he has missed during that time. Question number 5, we asked you if you could remember which Grand Prix star signed for Leicester in 2018 but only completed 1 meeting in Lions colours. Martin Vasilik, of course. Vasilik actually raced in 3 different meetings for Leicester, but 2 of them were abandoned, one of them at Swindon, in which the Slovakian suffered a broken ankle, which understandably hampered his season. Question 6. Could you name the 3 British clubs that Matej Zagar has officially ridden for to date? Swindon, Kings Lynn and Poole. So Swindon, Kings Lynn and Poole. Well, Magic, as is affectionately known, raced for Swindon in 2010 and 2011. That was followed by a season with Kings Lynn before 3 years at Poole. Again, we'll leave you to decide on the marking system you're using back at home, but we again are suggesting 1 point if you were able to name all 3 clubs. Question number 7. Which British club were the first to hand a team spot to Jason Doyle in 2005? The Isle of Wight. So a big well done on this one if you were able to rewind 15 years and get the Isle of Wight as your answer. Doyle spent 2 seasons with the Islanders as they were then known, and the 2017 World Champion has remained very loyal to a British Speedway, going on to represent another 7 clubs since. More multiple choice for question 8 of round number 2. Matej Zagar is most recently associated with Belle Vue when it comes to his British Speedway career, but with which other club did he also spend a total of 4 seasons? Was it A. Eastbourne, B. Reading, C. Swindon, or D. Trelawney? The correct answer, B. Reading. Well, Zagar actually raced for all of those clubs at one point or another earlier in his career, but it was with the Reading Bulldogs he spent 4 seasons between 2004 and 2007. Question 9. Which club first introduced Max Fricke to British Speedway, where he made over 90 appearances in 2013 and 2014? The correct answer, Edinburgh. Well, Fricke may have spent a good run of years at Belle Vue more recently, but it was with the Monarchs he enjoyed a successful first couple of seasons in British Speedway. Okay, the last question and the last answer to find out in the Grand Prix rider round. And we tried to make it a nice, easy one for you as well, so hopefully you got this one right. Question 10. Which club were the first to secure the signature of Tai Woffinden as he made his British Speedway debut in 2006? Of course, the answer is Scunthorpe. It was his hometown club who got their hands on Woffinden first, and what a memorable first season in the sport it turned out to be for the now treble world champion. Straight on to our second themed round, round 3, and our final round of this week's quiz. And for this week, it was all about team managers and promoters. Question 1, earlier in this year, Newcastle appointed Darren Hartley as their new team manager, but what was his main role in the sport in 2019? Referee is the answer we were looking for. It's fair to say the announcement of the former SCB referee was a shock appointment, especially when you consider the Diamonds had initially announced that Jason Pipe would be their new boss just a couple of weeks previous. Multiple choice for question number 2. It was announced that which former world champion would take over as Pool's team manager for their away fixtures only in 2020. The options we gave you were A. Gary Havelock, B. Chris Holder, C. Mark Laram, or D. Tony Ricardson. The correct answer, A. Gary Havelock. Well, following the Pirates' switch to the championship, long-serving boss Neil Middleditch felt he was unable to commit fully to the new schedule, which prompted the club's owners to bring former racer Havelock back to Wimborne Road in a co-boss capacity. Question number 3. Rob Lyon is the new team manager of Peterborough, but with which club was he a double Premier League title winning boss? The correct answer, one of Peterborough's rivals, Kings Lynn. Well, Lyon enjoyed plenty of success with the Stars before standing down from his role in 2017. The former Great Britain boss remained involved with the sport, though, through the No Limits training programme before accepting the winter call from the Panthers. Question number 4. Current Eastbourne co-boss Will Pottinger officially launched his Speedway managerial career with which club in 2010? Correct answer, Dudley Heathens. That was their name from 2010 through to 2013. And seeing as we're playing along for a bit of fun, we'll leave it to you in your individual households to determine whether you award a point or not if someone answered correctly. But Pottinger, the grandson of former Heathens promoter Les, he was handed the role following the revival of the former Dudley Wood outfit. Question 5. In which year was Simon Stead appointed team manager of his home club Sheffield? 2017. Well, following retirement from racing, Stead took over from Eric Bucock and Mark Bates, who had shared the role in 2016, and it turned out to be a dream debut season as gaffer for Stead, as well as he helped end the Tigers' 15-year wait for league glory. On to question number 6 of round 3, and Jim Lynch was named Leicester team manager in March 2017. But which club did he originally agree to join that season? The answer, Coventry. Well, yes, Lynch was appointed by the Bees prior to them pulling out of the 2017 Premiership season, leaving the former Great Britain boss free to take charge of their East Midlands rivals. Question number 7, and this was the last multiple choice question of tonight's quiz. Jade Mudgway is the current team manager of Redcar, but in which country was he born? A. Australia, B. England, C. New Zealand, or D. Scotland? The answer is C. New Zealand. Well, Mudgway was born in Wellington in New Zealand to be precise, and he rejoined the Bears a couple of years ago after racing for the Teessiders in 2008. We brought you one final picture question for question 8 of round number 3, and we asked you if you could name the current team manager from his racing days. The answer, the rider in question, Matt Bates. Well, this photograph on your screen was taken at a Young Lions under-21 fixture back in 2009. And for those of you who might not know, Bates is now in charge of National League outfit Plymouth. Penultimate question then of British Speedway Quiz Night 2. Round 3, question 9. David Mason is one of Birmingham's co-owners, but in which year did he ride for the club? 2017. So yes, that is the same answer for question 5 and question 9 in this round, which may well have thrown a few of you out there. But David Mason joined the Brummies as a mid-season signing in their penultimate year of National League racing before agreeing to take over at Perry Barr alongside Father Peter following the retirement of Tony Mole and Graham Drury. Final question of the quiz, and may have taken some working out this one. Since suffering playoff final heartbreak in 2009, how many times has Alun Rossiter been a top flight winning manager? The answer we've got, and we're looking for 4. So Rossiter made the switch to Coventry in 2010 and won the title at his first attempt with the Bees before a hat-trick of titles followed him back to Swindon in 2012, 2017 and 2019. So that's it. Our second British Speedway quiz night is complete. Again, there were 40 questions and 40 points up for grabs. That's obviously if you marked it as we suggested along the way. So how did you get on? Did you score the most points out of those of you who were playing along in your households or via the video apps? Maybe you were just happy to beat your score from last week if you managed that. Do let us know in the comment section, or again, feel free to post a picture of your answer sheet. As we said at the start, no prizes. We just want you to enjoy the quiz again, have a bit of fun along the way, and keep the Speedway family in touch with one another during these difficult times. We're on Facebook by searching Speedway GB. On Twitter, we're at Speedway GB. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's Speedway Great Britain. We've got some more fantastic action coming your way this Monday as we rewind to 2015 and a fixture between the Coventry Bees and the Belle Vue Aces. And we hope to see plenty of you tuning in for that one. That's this coming Monday. Once again, a big shout out to all the NHS staff, care workers and all your other key workers. All the sacrifices you're making right now. It goes without saying that it really is appreciated. A huge thanks to all of you who have played along tonight. Keep spreading the word and let's make the most of these quiz nights while we're having them. I'll be back for quiz night 3 next Friday from 8:30 p.m. In the meantime, remember, keep following the government guidelines, stay at home, protect the NHS and save lives. Take care of yourselves and your families and enjoy the rest of your weekend.